Welcome to the Foundry by Forge College. All right, grab your blueprints and maybe a really strong cup of coffee because we are diving straight into today's explainer. We're rolling up our sleeves to tackle the messy, highly concurrent, totally real-world reality of smart contract integration testing on Solana. Now, if you've been following along in our capstone module on seamlessly integrating a Solana dApp into a marketplace, you know we've planned our interactions and we've built them. But now, well, now it is time to test them against the chaotic reality of the blockchain itself. Let's get into it.
So you just finished the previous lesson on integration testing and iteration. And you might be sitting there thinking, okay, my unit tests are completely green, so why on earth is my program suddenly crashing? Well, think of it this way. Unit tests, they're basically like practicing your punches on a static, predictable practice dummy. You control the environment perfectly. But integration tests, that is the actual live sparring match where things break, your opponent hits back, and network latency jumps into the ring uninvited. To survive the sparring match, we really need to build a highly controlled environment to study these failures.
Section 1. Setting up the lab. To troubleshoot our dApp effectively, without all that random network variance muddying up the waters, we need a pristine, sterile lab setup. Here is the blueprint for that. Step 1, you're going to want to start with a clean, freshly reset local validator. We want completely local deterministic behavior here. Step 2, deploy your program build artifacts locally. And finally, step 3, use a deterministic JSON key pair for testing. You might ask, why not just use a browser wallet? Well, browser wallets require human clicking, which introduces totally unpredictable timing. A JSON fixture key pair, on the other hand, is basically a perfectly cloned crash test dummy. It's going to behave the exact same way every single time.
Section 2, the concurrency collision.
Let's actually define the bug that literally keeps Web3 developers awake at night. In the context of a Solana program-derived address, or PDA, a race condition is basically two transactions trying to cram through the exact same door at the exact same millisecond. Because Solana is incredibly fast and highly parallelized, if your client sends two updates simultaneously to the same account without proper ordering or locking, the state is going to conflict. It's an absolute traffic jam and nobody's moving. So how do we actually catch this traffic jam? We force the collision deliberately, using our test harness. We create a specific test case literally called concurrent write race. We construct two conflicting transactions, and instead of waiting nicely for the first one to finish, we fire them both off simultaneously using a promise.all. We are intentionally creating a realistic concurrency window here just to see if the system correctly rejects one or if, it entirely falls apart. And when that stress test inevitably fails, it reveals a massive, panic-inducing state mismatch. On one side, you have your expected pristine state, an orderly sequence of account updates where everything adds up perfectly. But on the other side, the chaotic actual state. Because the accounts were processed in a totally unexpected order, your program panics, the expected state is just missing, or your instructions end up completely malformed. It is definitely a harsh reality check. Section 3. The precision fix. Now, when you find a bug like this, you have to resist the urge to just rewrite the entire engine. Don't do it. The golden rule here is to prefer minimal, testable fixes that maintain your performance budget. You want to apply the absolute smallest possible patch that repairs the engine without destroying its fuel efficiency. This could be something like adding an optimistic locking field to your account state, or even simply enforcing a deterministic client-side ordering by sorting instructions before you send them. A massive, overly complex locking mechanism might prevent the race condition, sure, but it might also make your dApp completely unusable for your users. Section 4. Checking the performance budget. We absolutely have to verify that our cure isn't worse than the disease. I mean, a mechanical fix that solves a race condition but slows down our dApp to a crawl, that isn't actually a fix, it's just a brand new problem that your users are going to hate. So to prove our fix is viable, we run a performance regression check, basically comparing our transaction latency before the patch to the latency after the patch. And we don't just test this once. No, we run this across 50 iterations to get a statistically significant average. We need hard, cold data showing that our precision fix didn't secretly introduce massive overhead. So the absolutely crucial point here is this number. Let's say your performance budget, which you established back in lesson 1, was a 200 millisecond mean latency per user action. Your post-fix benchmark must absolutely unequivocally stay beneath that 200 millisecond ceiling. If your new retry mechanism suddenly spikes the latency to 500 milliseconds, yeah, you have to go right back to the drawing board. You might need to pivot from synchronous retries to an exponential backoff strategy, or maybe batch your RPC calls. Fast and correct is the only acceptable answer in Web3. Section 5. The final schematic. Okay, once your engine is purring again, your tests are green, and your latency is beautifully under budget, it's time to draft the final schematic, which we call the debug report. Now, don't groan, this isn't just annoying homework. It's the ultimate receipt of your engineering prowess. It essentially proves that your capstone is ready for final assembly. This report absolutely must include validator logs, transaction signatures so it's reproducible, before and after JSON reports, the performance regression CSV to prove you stayed under budget, and notes on any residual risks. Reviewers are going to rely on this heavily, so make it good. But before we wrap up entirely, we need to perform one last sanity check. As you prepare to actually merge these fixes into your capstone branch, you must double-check that you've stripped out any temporary debugging code. Remove those test-only account state changes, delete those massive console logs you use to figure things out. You have to ensure that only pristine, production-ready logic makes it to the marketplace. If you survived the lab and ticked all those boxes, congratulations. You are now fully prepared for the capstone final assembly. The marketplace awaits. To explore more advanced troubleshooting techniques, review these integration strategies, and dive into tons of other fascinating Web3 topics, be sure to visit forged.college. Thanks for joining me on this explainer today. But before you go, ask yourself this. If your integration tests are completely green today, are you absolutely certain they'll survive tomorrow's mainnet congestion? Ponder that one for a bit. Happy debugging.